2.
The Real Deal TV, bringing the good stuff every day. The Real Deal TV, Real Deal TV.
Welcome to The Real Deal. I'm Lisa Redl.
And I'm Candace Chisholm.
And today we're doing The Real Deal on parenting.
Eek!
I'm you can't
Still
see my
parenting. You're continuously parenting.
People are like,
It's like
if
a
you have
bowl.
one more show, or one more kid, because I already have 2, they're like, you have to have your own parenting blog because of
I
what a mess I was
agree.
already with 2. And they're like, well, with 3, it's going to be
You need a whole
crazy.
show. I don't even know if a blog would really do it
I know.
justice. I think
It's like
you
live
need
cameras in my
cameras,
house.
GoPros all day.
And you're not only a parent.
I'm a grandparent. There she goes with.
I just can't believe that you're a grandparent.
I'm a grandparent. I'm a glamour. Yes, yeah, it's awesome. Wish I could have skipped the whole parenting gig and just gone straight to grandparent.
Well, you can give them back.
Oh, yeah, like there's
Right?
just so many incredible things. You can spend the time with them. They're perfect.
Give them the sweets. Like my mom was so
Oh,
strict.
jack
Like
'em up.
we had a hockey billets. The Panthers were Penticton Panthers, and
Yeah.
their parents would send them gift packages with like chocolate bars. And my
That's so
sister
nice of
and
them.
I would eat all of them.
Oh.
Because we didn't have any real sugar in our house.
Oh, yes.
So,
that makes
but
sense.
now my mom's like, my kids come over. They're like, oh, we're going to Amwood's. We get ice cream before bed every night. I'm
Yeah.
like, what? That didn't happen
Yeah.
with me.
I'm pretty sure my kids will probably watch this, but we do that with Laura as well. You know, we're like, let's go to the mall. We're gonna get French fries, and they send all those really cute little pouches of organic food. They're in my cupboard.
Exactly. And
We stash 'em.
My mom too. Like things will happen.
That's live.
Hello.
Hi,
Who's this?
Sarah.
Hey, Sarah, you're live on Facebook and you are on the thing, which is great actually, because I want you to tell your story, okay?
Okay, because I can't send you a thing.
Okay, this is hilarious. This is somebody I actually wanted on the show,
Oh,
Sarah.
okay.
Because she had one of the most real and raw parenting experiences.
Okay, great.
That still to this day makes me like laugh my head off. So
Okay.
I'm gonna put you on speakerphone and put you near my microphone. And
Okay.
I just want to tell everybody what you did, what happened when you were so exhausted.
Okay, so I was pregnant with my 3rd baby, and I had 2 other babies under the age of 3.
Oof.
And I threw up every single day of that whole pregnancy, like from before I showed up on a pregnancy test.
You had that
And my
hyper.
husband was out of town, so I was all alone. And so to survive, I would lie across the floor in my playroom. So I blocked the door with my gigantic mammoth self. And I would put on a bathing suit and I would give the kids face painting crayons. And then I would let them draw on my arms and legs
Oh
while I
my
closed
God.
my eyes and tried not to throw up. And I made sure the room was baby-proofed so that they were safe. And the only way to get anything more dangerous would be to climb over me, and I was like the size of a house, and it would wake me up if I had fallen asleep. So it was
That
all
is
about survival.
genius.
Isn't that hilarious?
So you're a genius.
But it's so real and so raw.
Yeah,
So,
and I'm imagining it as she's saying it and thinking it sounds kind of fun. Maybe
Super classy.
I don't have kids, but
Super
maybe
classy.
Mike and I
Yeah.
could try that at home.
You're not gonna find that crap on Pinterest.
No, you're not. And that's
Pinterest
the whole
fail.
point of this show today is just talking about like things that nobody told you or nobody that you don't talk about as a parent or what like when you're pregnant or when you gave birth or parenting
Yeah.
that you just like you find out later. And so when you share those kind of moments that are just so raw, it's like
So
other moms are like,
real.
okay, this is
Not just me. Sherry, did you have the same? Did you throw up with the other 2 like that? Like did
Sarah.
You, oh, Sarah, sorry.
No, I had like minor, like a couple of days of morning sickness with the other 2. I have no idea what went down with that 3rd one. I just, wasn't even showing up on a pregnancy test and was already throwing up. It was so awful.
Wow.
And when she was born, I said to my husband that morning, I was like, oh, I feel weird. And he's like, well, describe it to me. And I did. And he goes, oh, I think you're just hungry. I had forgotten what hungry feels like. Also, I just want to, if this is really about all the things nobody tells you,
Yeah.
I'm a doula, so I've actually attended a lot of births,
okay.
and everybody poops. Everybody.
You cannot get away from
I
it.
don't care who tells you they didn't.
Yeah.
Everybody
Exactly.
poops.
Yeah, everybody poops.
And
It's true.
Everybody poops.
I think it's good for people to know that because it like if you go in not knowing, and then
Yeah.
you could be pretty embarrassed.
Yeah.
But I remember I had a water birth for my first, and my doula was my friend Nina.
Yeah.
I call her Paula Abdullah because she's not really a doula. But she had a fish net thing, like for aquariums.
Yeah.
And like
To catch
anything that came out of me.
Oh my
yeah. So
gosh.
she's like
Oh, no.
in the birthing video, you can see her just really politely scooping
Scooping?
anything that was coming out of me. It's so bad.
That's amazing.
We need pictures on here when you
It's-
edit this
yeah.
for TV.
Well, I'll share my birthing video.
Yeah.
It's so funny because all the men in the studio are never ever going to have children after this show.
There's some people throwing up here now.
Well, that's amazing. Thanks so much for sharing. I'm so glad I picked up your phone call, Sarah.
Yeah, you guys have a great night.
We'll see you on
Thanks, Sarah.
Facebook Live. Bye. So that's it. So that's right, perfect, right?
Yeah.
So those kind of things where you just don't know what
To expect.
to expect because people
There's
are
a
too
reason there's a
embarrassed.
book, what to expect when you're expecting.
But a lot of that's BS.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's not rocket science that there's, like, what they say is going down, it doesn't go down. It
No.
is pure pandemonium.
Well, if I hadn't seen my sister giving birth, I wouldn't have even known that you have to birth your placenta after.
Oh.
Like
You thought you'd have
and-
twins or something.
Well, you still don't know
Yeah.
what's happening
Yeah.
that you actually have to deliver
Yeah.
it basically.
Yeah.
So there's just so many things. So
Yeah.
what is something that no one told you about pregnancy?
I'm a little like Sarah as well. So I ended up with I had two cesarean sections.
Okay.
And nobody told me that they strip you naked for the cesarean sections, or at least they did for me.
What's the point of that?
Not sure. Again, maybe that's just my experience.
What
but
kind of doctor
I have
do
to
you
tell
have?
you the story really fast. It's so funny because I was actually in I was living in Summerland at the time,
Okay.
and I was in the Penticton Hospital. It was with my first baby, very long time ago, almost 30 years now. And so I had a cesarean section, and at the time I was working at the credit union in Summerland. So if you live in Summerland, you know exactly where I'm talking about. I was a kid. I was just young. And so they're taking me in for the cesarean section.
Yeah.
And I'm naked. Like, not just my belly, like all of me was naked. And, the doctors and the nurses in the OR, they're wearing their masks. So
Yeah.
all you see is the eyes. And I, kid you not, a nurse looks down and she goes, "You're from the credit union." And I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And like from then on, like I went back to work after my maternity leave, I was like I was doing this in front of everybody, like, is it you? Is it you? Did you see me naked? Are you looking at me weird? Yeah, that was a weird thing for me. So I don't know.
That kind of experience happened.
They're laughing
to my,
in the control room.
happened to my sister. So things not to do. So you learn, like before I had children, I had no boundaries. I had no idea what to not do with pregnancy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put an interview with my sister. I'm gonna interview her after this show and get her to talk about it. But in a nutshell, what happened was she requested that there was nobody but her husband in the hospital room.
Oh.
And my mom and I crashed her birth with cameras, video,
Dude.
photos. I got photos right in there. Like I was right in there. Like I
I
was
want to know what people think about that.
so inappropriate. Like it did not respect her birthing wishes at all. I just was like peeking in, and then slowly as she got more vulnerable, I got even closer and closer.
How long did it take for her to talk to you again?
Well, she was like uploading pictures onto Facebook, or not Facebook, onto her computer. And she was like, every week she'd send my mom and I the inappropriate photo of the week. And one was like my mom, my dad come in the room while she was getting stitched up and take a picture. So it's my dad and like really uncomfortable.
Like a
My
Mount
sister
Rushmore, like,
with her legs open, getting stitched up. So the actual photo has her everything, and my dad, like her whole downstairs mix up. Yeah,
yeah.
it was so, and Lindsay, I'm so sorry, I was completely wrong. That was the worst thing ever.
I would still not talk to you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was mad when people just unexpectedly showed up at my house after my birth. Like, so I've changed. So let's talk about that for a second.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about what not to do when your friend or family gives birth.
Okay, so you're talking about the actual birth?
So the actual birth, well,
Okay.
yeah. So just if you're in the hospital or at home, like I had both my kids at home, but it can be at home. At the home, like it's actually harder to keep
Yeah, of
people away
course, because they're
people
used to
will
coming.
just stop by your house.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say probably the one thing is, respect the privacy first. I would think this would be first and foremost, and to give grace to people.
Yeah.
You know, I think in those situations you got to remember, like, when you're in giving birth, you're not thinking about like, oh, I need to call my Aunt Mary.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking about getting this
thing
out of you. And people get weird when like, why didn't they call me? And then it becomes this weird family dynamic. And I think like when people are in, when they're about to give birth and stuff, just like let them have some grace.
Well, that's why even like the second that I find out I'm pregnant with both my kids, I just posted the pregnancy test onto Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, guess what, everybody? You all find out at the same time. And
Yeah.
people like judge me for that. Like my sister was kind of annoyed that she found out on Facebook I was pregnant with my first. But again, it is that thing where it's like it's so much easier just to tell everybody at once than to have to like individually.
Yeah.
Here I am.
You're mothering
I'm a
me
mom.
again.
Make a wish.
I wish you'd stop touching my face.
Can't. Boundaries. We're talking about boundaries here.
Clearly we haven't learned.
One thing I didn't know. So the first I gave birth at home, and I was very like, because I did a lot of research, and what I did to my sister, I kind of knew what not to do.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even letting like close people. I wanted some time to bond with my son, and my husband just invites our handyman over. He's walking around while I'm breastfeeding, and I'm so like I feel so violated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is he here? And then the second birth,
I was just gonna ask that.
I didn't know that after you have already one baby, how severe the after postpartum contractions are. It feels like you're in labor again. That's something that no one told me that would happen, is the postpartum contractions. And some of our neighbors just dropped by and came over.
For a post-contraction party.
And they have their kid and them, and I'm on the couch like in my robe, having full-on contractions,
Wow.
and I felt like rage inside because I was just like, and then they wouldn't leave. That's another thing, people not leaving the house.
So why did you ask them to leave?
I was hoping my husband would. So husbands out there, get a birthing plan, follow the birthing plan, and make sure that you guys know exactly what you want, because everyone's different. Like we were talking about earlier about even when you're pregnant, some women don't like to be touched. I will
you like people
accost
mauling
strangers
you.
in the bathrooms and tell them to feel my stomach.
It's constant. Like it's like grabs my hand, takes it over. I'm like, well,
Feel
hello.
like
It's good
there's a
to see you.
miracle in here. So everyone's different on like everything that we're saying. It could be
Completely opposite.
Some people.
And I think
like
that's the
that
other thing
support.
to know is it's important to know that everybody is different. But I want to go back to something because you talked about a birthing plan. So what do you think about birthing plans? Because that's kind of a newer thing. Like my kids, we didn't have birthing plans. Like the plan was to get that animal out of you.
Right.
That was it. There was no real like, you didn't pick music. You didn't have like, there wasn't a lot of options. Maybe that's why things were more chaotic.
Well, and
but-
men weren't even expected to be in the room. There was
Okay, well, I'm not that far back. Oh, wow. And then my husband rode the horse and carriage to the pub across the street, the saloon.
Okay, maybe not for you, but
Guffaw.
but I'm just saying that things have changed. That like men are more involved now in the whole thing.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And for me, the whole birthing plan was because I was doing a home birth. So things like where are the supplies? What's because there's different different things that you need in a home
Especially
birth
in the home
versus in the
birth.
hospital.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in the hospital, it's like what interventions am I okay with, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're in that vulnerable position, everything goes out the window.
Yeah.
Your inhibitions, like I'm someone that's very private about my privates.
Yeah.
When you're giving birth, you just your clothes just come off, and you're just like an animal.
It's very primal.
Very primal.
Yeah.
And so in those moments, you can't really advocate for yourself. So having a birthing plan and making sure that your partner or your doula, whoever's your support person in the room, knows exactly what interventions you're okay with, what you're not okay with, and can also advocate for you too if you're feeling uncomfortable. If someone like your mom and sister come and accost you while you're giving birth in your room,
You might want to set up a security guard.
they would be the
please.
ones that would be like, kindly
Security
leave.
detail. if you're anywhere close to Lisa Redl, you might want to have security detail.
Exactly. So yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, that's good. I was just curious about the birthing plan because I don't, again, like kind of different generations in that sense. Oh my God, I'm so old.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna. The problem with this Facebook Live is I can't actually see anything. Like I can't see. Oh, I can.
Oh, look.
Now we're getting somewhere, Mike Chisholm. Okay, so
The
I'm
husbands are all commenting.
inappropriate photo of the week. Oh, I have a spectacular faux pas story. Does he, Mike?
I don't know. He must.
Mike, what is it? Call in to my phone.
We're listening.
Invited over when you breastfeed this one?
Nope. Hey.
That's
All
so
right.
funny. We're just looking at the comments to see if anybody. Okay, so Mike's going to share his story in a little bit. But what I want to do now is best baby gifts. So once
Yeah,
the
okay.
babies come out, that's another thing.
I'm thinking. I'm not looking. I'm thinking.
Well, I found one of the biggest things
Oh,
was.
we have a caller.
Oh, we have a caller on my cell phone.
You're on with Candace and Lisa.
Mike Chisholm. Okay, Mike Chisholm,
All right, hello.
tell us.
Hi,
Hit
Mike
us.
Chisholm.
What'd you
I'm
do?
going to give you the man's perspective about around the due date of a woman giving birth. You must be very careful asking, when are you due? And I have a story about this. I used to work at a convenience store, and a girl I went to high school with who got pregnant young, and I still worked there. She came into the store, and I thought, yeah, she'll give birth in a couple of months. And I'm saying, oh, so when's the big day? And she's like, well, I had the child 2 weeks ago.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Don't feel too
Yeah.
bad, Mike, because I was telling Candace earlier that my sister and I have had 5 kids so far between the two of us, and this is going to be the 6th. And every single time after we've given birth, she says, is there another baby in there? So, yeah.
Yeah, but she's old. He's not.
In my experience, that's not a wise thing to say.
No,
So,
it's not.
If you didn't hear, I don't know if you guys could hear on there. So Mike said
Thanks,
that
Mike.
he had a girl come in that he's like, oh, when's the baby due? And she had already had the baby. So that brings up a very interesting. So what is the best thing to say to a pregnant woman?
Nothing. Unless you see this, don't say a
What
thing.
if they're very obviously pregnant? You can still say something, or what's
I think
the,
so.
What's the best? Because a lot of
problem
people
is,
need to know.
Again, there's that thing where you don't know. Some people are bothered by things. Just yesterday, I had family dinner at my sister's house. So my brother-in-law and his brother, both in different rooms at different times, told me how fat my butt was.
That just seems like, okay. I don't even know where to go with that. I'm talking about the belly. I mean, you know.
But
'cause
there's some
sometimes-
things. There's lots of things that people say. They'll say, "Oh, you're not going to make it to your due date. Are you having
Yeah.
twins? Are you having triplets?"
Whoa, look at you! Don't say that.
Yeah, I feel like I should have a horn behind me as I'm
Don't
walking.
say, look how big you're getting. No woman wants to hear that.
You're
I don't
huge.
care. Yeah.
See, and those kind of things don't really bother me
Oh,
if you're
okay.
talking about my stomach. But if you start talking about like my face or my butt or other places
Anywhere else that a
aren't
baby
pregnant,
isn't in.
then it's like a little bit like, oh, I guess maybe I should go home and do some like lunges or some, you know.
So be conscious. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we were talking about baby gifts.
Baby gifts, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I learned is, especially through things like Mamas for Mamas and different organizations,
Yeah.
and thrift stores and stuff, is don't buy baby clothes that are new. And especially like
Yeah.
thank you to my in-laws in California, but they would send in the mail, so you'd have to pay for.
Oh, because they're from the States. You
So
have to
they
pay for
send us a
duty.
package. You have to pay the duty. So I
Yeah.
have to pay, like I think I had to pay like $30 once for someone to send me baby clothes that are brand new. That and I said, instead of just spending the money on baby clothes, can you pay for a swimming lesson? Can you
That's a
pay
good
for a
idea.
housekeeper? Can you do something so like, and the house cleaner thing too is like if you think about it, it's not saying I clean my house, because I can't clean it. It's clean my house so that I can spend
the
more
time.
quality time with
Yeah.
my children.
Yeah.
And that's a huge gift.
I think cleaning a house is amazing. I think like we talked a little bit about meal delivery service is amazing. When I had my kids, it's funny because I don't remember any of the clothes really that were bought, but I had this one shower. I think I had a few different showers. And so it was kind of getting to that point where you're like, well, what are you going to buy them? And people just bought me diapers. I had diapers like all sizes for so long, and it was so great.
No, diapers are always a good thing.
Always a good thing.
Unless the person's doing cloth.
But yeah, like maybe make sure you check. But you might think it's not very pretty or whatnot. I'm just going to see. Lindsay says, I always recommend gift cards. Yes.
Yes, and she said on diapers.
For diapers.
So
Yeah.
totally.
Or things that they want to get.
Yeah, so diapers are so amazing, and just things that you can't get for free or from like hand-me-downs from other moms and stuff.
Well, especially, okay, so your third baby, your third boy. So there's a good chance you don't need
I actually gave away all my stuff.
Oh, did you?
Because I was done at 2,
Well, that's
and
why
then
you
I
end up
had a
having more.
moment of insanity, and I pulled out my own IUD, and then I
Oh my gosh, that's a whole other story.
yeah, I did that. That happened.
Yeah, I did that.
But so I didn't have anything. But you know how fast I got it from garage sales, Mamas for Mamas, thrift, trading and swapping and things, because I feel like there's so much waste, especially with kids' toys and extra saucers and playpens and all these things. Like, we don't need to buy all those things new. There's no reason for it.
Yeah, I agree.
We can recycle, and this is again what we're trying to do with our show is just encouraging people to use secondhand. Like you can have onesies that maybe the kid was a preemie or oversized, didn't fit and it's basically brand new anyways.
Yeah. What about nanny services or like babysitting services? Like I know that's a little touchy subject because people obviously aren't gonna maybe just use any service or whatnot, but there might be like if you could talk to the parent about it, or maybe a parent to be could say, hey, like I would use this service and you can put money towards it or something. That's never a bad thing.
Or show up for and be there for the kid,
be the nanny.
Hold the baby. Come over and hold the baby, or just like let the mom just come over to the person's house when you're invited. Don't just show up, and say you're gonna have a shower.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold your baby.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So my daughter-in-law. So my my granddaughter was probably about 10 months old, and my daughter-in-law wasn't feeling good at all, and so my son had to go to work, and so we're like, yeah, we'll take the baby, no problem. And I think we had her for 2 or 3 days, and I wanted to start grandmother's whole baby business or something. I couldn't believe, I'd forgotten how much work that is. So Mike would come home and I'm like, what is that smell? And he's like, it is you. You have not showered for 3 days. You haven't combed your hair for 3 days. And I'm like, this tiny little child had just taken over our whole world. I was so tired.
Well, that's
so
the
much
thing too,
respect.
is a lot of non-parents will be like, I don't care that you're a parent. We can be tired too, like non-parents. There is a major difference because it's physical versus mental exhaustion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's trying to keep your eyes open, knowing that you have to keep these things alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not being able to actually rest, because even if you do rest, you're worried. You're like, okay, what's happening right now around me?
Yeah, I'll say I've had it both ways. Like I've been out of the baby game and then back in the baby game. No, there's nothing. So I'm sorry.
Nothing more exhausting.
Nothing more exhausting
parenting.
than parenting. So Lindsay said about meals. So yes, we definitely think that meals is a good thing.
Yeah, Jeremy just showed up. Jeremy's going to be giving us some input as a dad in a minute. Come on in, Jeremy. One thing I just on Facebook Memories, that's what I love Facebook too for is like 'cause I used Instagram and Facebook. I have a private Instagram account where I put all my baby pictures and then I print them on that Shutterfly or different apps like that.
Good idea.
But on Facebook, my memory today actually was of my mom and my mother-in-law babysitting my son. Okay, so I had given birth in January, and it's April, so 4 months old. Marcus and I were having a date night. First text I get was, Austin got into the kitchen and got into Elijah's breast milk. So I had pumped just enough milk so we could have a few hours out. And the first text I get is that my older son
took the milk for the baby.
Drank it. So I'm like,
Your hair's so shiny.
So yeah, he's very healthy. So that was the first text. Then they're giving us updates. So one is them in a pub with my sons.
Oh, that's so funny.
Another one is them walking, or my son, my 4-year, or no, he was not 4, he was 2 and 0.
Yeah.
Just born. The 2-year-old was wearing a newborn sweater. I'm like, that's not his sweater. And then the next picture they took was my son bare feet.
Oh,
in
that's
the stroller
awesome.
with no shoes on. So it's just
That's
like, it was very, very, very funny.
That actually brings up another question that I want to know as a caregiver. So not like I'm not in the baby scene anymore, other than with my granddaughter. But like, if you're going out on a date, do you want updates on your kids?
I do, and I'm not just going to throw my friend under the bus. Sorry, Jonica. But one night when I got a babysitter, because we didn't have babysitters very often, we had a 1-hour group, and I looked on my friend's Instagram, and on her Instagram she was feeding my son Buckley's cough syrup.
He was taking it? That's amazing.
Well, he wasn't even sick. She had a cough, and he wanted some. And you're not supposed to give cough syrup to kids under 8 years old. They can have a heart attack. And then I couldn't get a hold of her, so I'm like panicking. I'm crying. I'm like trying to get a hold of her, and in my head, he's already in the hospital.
Oh,
They
yes,
can't
the
talk to me because the
scenario
doctor's
disaster.
talking.
Yeah.
And I'm driving, so it's like that 1 hour of no kids was like not worth the stress of it all. So I
You were
kind of
checking
wish.
social media, so maybe if
Because
you stayed off social media.
if I hadn't done that,
I know.
exactly. So sometimes you don't want updates. You don't
Yeah.
want to know. Like I would recommend shutting your
Phone off.
But then what if something does happen?
Oh my gosh.
Like you can't really win. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
All right, what other questions do you have?
So what was if you can remember way back in the day when you had your babies?
Wow.
What was your most like
When the-
raw and real experience with your children?
I just remember crying every day.
Did you have postpartum?
Yeah, but again, at that time, like I had bad postpartum.
Yeah.
But at the time, we just didn't talk about it.
Right.
And, you know, like again, 30 years ago, almost
Yeah.
30. He's going to be 29 this year. And yeah, I just remember, why do I run into traffic? And why do I, you know, like, and all of those feelings and what is wrong with me, like all the things that we talk about now. So it's very, very, on a serious note, it is very encouraging for me to see people talking more about it. You know, I think that it's such a real thing. The only thing that's going to help is bringing awareness to it. We have a caller, and it's the girl you threw under the bus.
Uh-oh. Here she is. Hold on. Jonica's on the phone, and she's live. Jonica, you're live.
Well, hello. How are you?
Good. Are you watching our show?
Well, actually, I'm in my car right now, so I'm not.
We were just, we thought you were calling because I just shared the cough syrup story.
Lisa said,
and you're on camera.
She named you by name.
I did.
What I'm going to do on this particular part of what you said is I never did give it to him. So what I did was I was joking. I pretended I gave it to him because I thought it would be funny. And then he put the spoon near his mouth and he gave me a face like, I ain't drinking that. And I was joking. The whole thing was I was joking. So I never did give it to you.
Okay, well, that story has been cracked now.
It's taking this long. At least you're still friends.
Well, exactly.
But you know what?
There's way more good stories than bad because Jonica and her husband are actually my kids' godparents and have like really shown up as grandparents. And like my kids, but Jonica and I, that's a good story because we were in Vancouver for a month and my son and I. And Jonica and I were trying to get some work done because her mom was writing that book, What If Bunny Pooh is Square, and some other poetry stuff. And Jonica and I were trying to get some work done, so we put sheets all around her doorway and blocked it off, and we put a down blanket down, but we didn't know that my son had got caught in the corner and was like, we went, I just had that mommy intuition.
Yeah,
Never,
instinct.
always follow your mommy intuition, first of all.
Yes.
And I'm like, I should go check on Austin. And I go and look, and he is like sweating profusely. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like he was right in the corner.
Oh my goodness.
So remember that, Jonica?
I want to share something with you before my daughter comes back. Both my daughters have just gone into the liquor store.
You are live.
And you know what? When Victoria was a baby, she was very sick with like a really bad. She couldn't breathe, like literally couldn't breathe. And I had to go to work. I was doing exactly what Lisa does. And I came home and I'm like, I've got to go to work. She's got to get better. My mom and I were holding her and I said, I got some Buckley's, that'll work. And I actually did give the Buckley's to Victoria, but Victoria loved food when she was little. So her mouth was always open like a bird. And she put it in her mouth and she shivered just like we do. And I'm not going to lie, she did really well on it and she wasn't sick anymore. But she loves Buckley. She lives for every day. But she also likes Fireball. That's what they're just gone.
Oh. So now we're advocating for don't give Fireball to your child. Don't give Buckley's to your child.
Yes. Well, Jonica.
Your kids because they'll turn out wanting Fireball when they get older.
That's funny.
And they all turned out great. She's got 3 grown children. That just shows
They
you
really
that
are.
no matter what you do, your kids will turn out okay
Yeah.
most of the time.
Now, Phyllis has something a lot worse than freaking Buckley's. I mean, that man's a millionaire. Like a zillionaire. He hasn't killed anyone yet that I know of, but it is camphor. And back in the
Okay, I think we're getting off topic.
in the 18th century, they used to give camphor to people who had pneumonia. Just so that you know, and that's what they built around Buckley's was camphor, and that's what they built it on.
Well, Buckley's, it tastes awful, but it works. We should get them as a sponsor
Man,
on
now
the
we
show.
need them as a sponsor.
Thanks, Jamie. Come in here for a second.
Jamie, how are you?
Poor Jamie. Between me dancing as Luann and pregnant and this show,
He'll never have children.
He'll never have children.
Yeah.
So, okay, Jonica, thanks for sharing.
I believe he will, but thank you so much.
Bye.
I told him.
Okay, love you. Bye. And you too, Jamie.
I think that is we're gonna make mistakes as parents.
Yeah.
And you can't be too hard on yourself because they're a lot more resilient than what they seem to be. Like those little beings, they're pretty tough. I mean, obviously, exercise due care and caution and all of
And
that.
be as safe as
And be as safe
possible.
as possible. But they're fast. They're sneaky.
Well, and you see on social media when things like there was just an article on Facebook about a kid drowning, a 5-year-old got over the fence and got into the pool and drowned. And all the comments are always like, where were the parents? But I'll tell you, I still have I think I have PTSD from what happened to me. We were at my friend's, my kids were both in life jackets. And my son he got really brave with the life jacket. He was jumping in the pool and my friend's kids were taking care of him, whatever.
Yeah.
And but then we went in for lunch, so the life jackets came out.
Oh.
And then I went to the bathroom, and this is the thing that I'm so intuitive, and I went right outside to the pool, and as I'm walking out of the door, I see my son with no life jacket, running toward the deep end of the pool, and
that's terrifying.
he jumped into the deep end.
That's terrifying.
But if I hadn't come out
at
that time.
Yeah.
Because you think that, okay, he knows to put the life jacket back on, right? And there's just those things, and that fast. And drowning is a silent thing, and it's something that is so common. And
So fast.
so I dove in the pool, and I waited just long enough that he would struggle a minute, not a minute.
Oh my God! Hey, family services is at the door.
Just long enough. Okay, bye. I'm being arrested. No, just long enough that he would feel a bit of fear.
Yeah.
So that he would know that.
Did it work?
It did, and my kids are so even when we were this morning, I took them on a bike ride. My 2-year-old goes, "There's the lake. I don't want to drown."
Oh.
So,
yeah.
but it's that's terrible too. But it's just there's so many things that can happen, and kids are so sneaky. So, if you get yourself in a situation or you see another parent that has got a situation, the best thing you can do is give them grace and understanding because these things can happen
Yeah,
to
the whole
anybody.
judgment thing has got to stop.
On everything.
On everything. So, again, kind of going back to something you said that triggered, you said about your intuition. So this is an interesting time, again, to have babies. Because in my day, there was no Google. No Google.
That's a good thing.
I was Google-less. I was Google-free. Google Freelicious, no Google. And we relied on what we got from our parents as far as training and then just sort of figure it out.
Yeah.
Didn't die yet, so that's good. We could do that again. So I think that the parent's the mother's intuition doesn't get exercised enough now, because I think everybody's on the computer and you
They're
can
not
find out
trusting their own
all
judgment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wish that we
It's
could go
like
back
Siri.
to that.
It's like, and you see the Office episode where Mike, Michael Scott?
Yeah, Michael Scott, yeah.
He's so focused on listening to the map directions that
Yes.
he doesn't use his brain.
Yeah.
He goes into the lake,
yeah.
because the thing told him to.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
whereas, and that's
Yes,
what we're doing
that's-
wrong.
yes.
So when I found out I was pregnant with my first child, I actually Googled like South American, like Amazon women
Nice.
and jungles, and I watched documentaries on them to see how they parent.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see what was instinctual for
Yeah,
us
yeah.
instead of, because it's like, don't co-sleep, don't do this, don't do that. And these women are in their hammocks sleeping with their kids. Like, there's a fine line, but again, I think that every situation, every child is different.
Yeah.
My one son, I co-slept with, I breastfed longer. He was very cuddly. My second child was colic. He
Yeah.
didn't want anything to do with me for the first year.
Yeah.
There's so, like, every child
Every
is different.
child is different, and you need to use those. Like, I had my second child, he was 6 months old, and I went to nurse him, and he was like,
Pass. I'll have the steak instead.
thanks, but eating at this restaurant, it's not that good. Two-star at best. Still finicky to this day. So, but sorry, Austin. But you know,
Look how he turned out, though.
Yeah, he's amazing. So, but that is that. Yes, I think that is an important thing. So, if you're a new parent or about to become a parent or going to become a parent and want to become a parent, please
Candace,
just
you're adorable. Chris says.
listen. Oh, Chris, you're adorable. Please listen to that gut. There's a reason you've been given that gut instinct.
Candy used to want to eat her kids.
That's true. Now I want to eat my granddaughter. It's not as cannibalistic as it sounds.
Oh, you want to eat them because they're so cute?
Oh my God, that just.
Oh, I want to eat mine because I just.
You couldn't eat something you don't love.
Yeah, that's true. So,
What else?
what else?
did you want to
There's
talk
so
about?
many things, though. There's so many things that I think are so important. But I
And-
think the judgment thing and
Yeah.
making sure that we.
And don't listen to, like, people love to share their stories,
Yeah.
which is what we're doing today. But that's just because that's our story, and I think we've reiterated this quite a bit. But that doesn't mean that's going to happen to you. It doesn't mean you're going to throw up every day, all day long. It doesn't mean you're, like, some people just have really pretty normal pregnancies and normal births. It's just that it's, what the problem is we just don't talk about it enough, I think, in public ways to explain. Like, everybody sort of oozes away from it.
Well, there's things like mastitis. I never even knew what that was before I gave birth. I got it 5 times.
Yeah, that's pure
that
hell.
alone was kind of like as
Or the
bad as birth.
cracked and bleeding nipples.
Yeah, those kind
Yeah.
of things, like the mastitis. Like,
Hurts so bad.
I was so against antibiotics
Yeah.
because I thought, I have to do so much more
Natural.
to,
Yeah.
So at my husband's grandma's house, I took a glass of wine, don't judge me, and I went in her bathtub with some coconut oil, and I just rubbed it, like.
Rubbed it out.
I rubbed it out, and it was horrible. Like, it was so painful, and there's so many things that, like, I feel like, yeah, there's a lot of things that are going to happen that we need to understand that, like, it's scary, but I'd rather you know about it than going into all this blind. Because the thing is that no matter what happens, if you have a difficult labor, or you have mastitis, or all these things.
Yeah.
I'm having my 3rd child still. This all happened in my first child. I gave birth to a 9-pound baby. I had mastitis 3 times with my son, Austin.
And you're still doing it.
I had all these things happen, but again, I went and had another baby,
Yeah.
and I'm having another baby. So it just shows you that the good outweighs the bad, but you
Yeah.
should be aware of what's
Do
coming.
you trigger with, okay, so a lot of that happened with Austin. And I think this is sometimes what people
And I have an
wonder.
Austin too. We both have Austins.
We both have Austins. I am talking about your Austin though, but like, you had all this stuff happen with your first baby, and then you got pregnant with Elijah.
Yeah.
When you went into labor, did it trigger you a little bit about everything that you had gone through with Austin?
The only thing that I thought when I was giving birth to my second son was that I thought I was preparing myself for longer labor.
Oh.
My son was only 3 hours, my first one. And I had him at home in a pool.
Yep.
And this is another thing, the midwives, sometimes they don't believe you when you're a first-time parent. They say that parents always call too early. And so they told me not to call until I was like sure. And it was my friend Nina, my husband, and I in my house. And I was crowning.
Wow.
And I
Can I call you now? Can you hear me now?
Call the midwife. And so my midwife almost missed my birth. The nurse
Wow.
completely missed it. She came in, and my husband was videotaping, and you can see her face. I'll actually see if I can
Scratch up the video.
put the video of her face when she first comes in and realizes like how far the baby's coming out of me. And
She must have been like,
it was 3 pushes after she got there. So when I had my second, it was a different experience too. So the first, my friend Nina, this is another hilarious story. So, and how different births can be.
Yeah.
So my friend Nina said to me, and yes, people that know me have heard the story a million times, so I apologize.
they're turning off their computers.
But what happened was my friend Nina was like,
Hi, Pete.
I'm pregnant with my first, and she's like, my sister had a silent birth. And I'm like, oh, that sounds amazing. Why would I'm not going to traumatize my kid? I'm going to have a silent birth too. She's like, the midwives were silent. My sister was silent. It was a beautiful birth. I'm like, I'm going to do that. Done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I gave birth to my first son, the screams that came out of my mouth were
Yes.
so primal.
Yes.
So I put just a clip of my scream onto a private video on YouTube and wrote silent birth, ... nailed it.
Nice.
And sent it to my friend after the fact because like you don't have any control over
No.
that,
No, you
right?
don't.
But my second was pretty silent.
Why do you think?
I don't know. Like
No, you
he
practiced it. It was just.
He was 10 pounds. It
Yeah.
shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
But I think that you just know you know what to expect.
Yeah.
And you know the level of pain because the first one you think your contraction comes, you're like, I'm gonna get a break, and you're like, oh, this isn't so bad, and then it gets closer and closer.
Yeah,
you're like,
the closer
You're
together.
like, I'm dying. Like
Yeah.
this is not okay amount of pain.
Yeah.
And then by the second you know what you're in for. But my second one came out in 1 push.
Yeah.
So
So maybe this one, no pushes.
Yeah.
She's having it now. We should do it live. Hey, would you consider that?
yes, that's just what I'm gonna invite Dave over for pizza and then be like.
I think if you think that Lisa should do the birth live and in studio, you can vote now.
Yeah, it's really
And
gonna happen.
I would love to deliver a baby. I've always wanted to deliver a baby. I also
Really?
always wanted to do surgery, so in case that goes.
Well, and I'm
sideways.
I'm open. Like, if you want to come over when I'm giving birth, I said my friend's a photographer, and I'm like, oh yeah, come on over if you want to get some practice getting some birthing photos.
Can I go
It's not
live?
going to be pretty, as long as you don't get this area here.
No, it would just be, it would be PG. I mean, we couldn't put that down, but I just think it would be kind of fun to share that with, if you cared about your studio audience, you would do this.
You would do this. Well, my births are so fast, 3 hours, 2 hours. I don't even know if I'll make it in the hospital. Because again, one thing too is people think that if you're stuck on having a home birth, like that you're a home birther. But I'm like, I actually would like to go to the hospital for this one.
Would you?
Yeah, because they just got a new mat ward.
Chris says, so she does hair and makeup for our show, Chris Rusecki from
She doesn't want to have
Relatable.
kids.
And she just went, please don't do that. Yeah.
I'm gonna invite you. I'm gonna be sick for work that day.
All of a sudden, no hair and makeup. What?
But
Yeah.
I was saying to my mom the other day, it's like, one thing is that the whole World of Grey kind of thing,
Yeah.
like your Mike and Colin do.
Yeah.
They do a podcast you guys should look up.
Yeah, it's good.
But it's like, it doesn't have to be black and white. Like, you don't have to be all midwife and home birth or hospital, whatever. Like, there's a middle line, and I respect the medical
Yeah.
establishment, but I liked having my babies in the comfort of my own home.
Yeah.
But now that I moved across the bridge, I'm on the west side now. I'm further away from the hospital.
Yeah.
And they built a new beautiful mat ward at the Kelowna General
It's
Hospital.
really beautiful.
And now I'm open to that idea
Yeah.
of having a baby there, right?
I actually do want to give a shout out to, so we're in Kelowna, BC, Canada, and I want to give a shout out to the maternity ward here. It is stunning. So my daughter-in-law had my granddaughter there, and I was lucky enough to be in the room. And oh my gosh, I have to sneeze.
Your daughter-in-law let you in the room.
She did.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
I would never let that happen.
I know. Yeah, and she said, she's like, you can come in. And I had never, because I had 2 cesarean sections, I hadn't experienced that. And I have to say it was pretty funny. So she was a warrior. Jessica was a warrior. She did like, it was amazing watching her go through the process, and not really a screamer. She was very polite. There was a nurse, her name was Carol, and Carol's like, okay, Jess, you gotta do this. And I don't know what she all of a sudden became Bugsy. Well, hey now. I say. But anyways, she, and Jess would be like, okay, Carol, like Carol was the be all end all. So when my granddaughter was born, she's teeny tiny, 6 pounds, 6 ounces. And I'm like, she's the leader of the free world. Like, I was so overcome. And they were so accommodating for us in there. Like, my son was in there, of course. And
do you have a private room?
Yeah, we had a private
So
room.
that's what I wanted, is a private
And they were beautiful. And they, I got to watch the whole thing, and I got to follow her. And then Mike actually came in not that long after. And, a little story about Mike. He's in that. But he didn't have any kids, so when he married me, he became an instant father, and now he's an instant grandfather, and so he hadn't been around the baby process really much other than his nephews and his niece. And he was like, when she's like 3 or 4, I'm gonna get involved or whatever. See this?
Oh yeah.
This is Mike's finger. This is Mike's finger with a baby on it.
Seriously, no, you guys are such good grandparents.
Yeah, we are.
Be more like you guys.
Be like Mike.
Yes. No, and it's so important because we live in a society now where it's kind of like we're very individual, and I see so many parents that are burnt out and so lonely and isolated, and they don't have a village around them, and it's so important that bond, with the grandparents and the kids, and and just having people that love your kids as much as you love them, because you could give your kid to a babysitter, but it's not the same.
No,
and so that's why it's been really hard for me to give my kids up to anybody, and why I stay home during the day, and then after my husband gets home, I go to work here, because I don't trust people with my kids, and they don't love them like I do. Even with husbands, you don't know what, like, I have to tell my husband about safety. Like he had our 5-year-old doing jumps on his new bike with an adult-sized helmet on. I'm like, that's not his helmet. Why is he wearing that helmet? It's like your own spouse has different ideas of what's safety and those kind of things too.
Totally. It's funny. I went to see Michelle Obama speak a couple months ago, and she actually does a bit in there about that. And you think of Barack Obama, president of the United States, very powerful man, and she says he's just not good enough for my babies. And she goes, and you need the rest, so you want him to be good enough, but he's not. And she says, so then you hate him because he's not good enough to look after your child. So true. And here's the leader again, really the leader of the free world at that time. And she's like, no. No, sorry, you're not capable.
My husband, another thing, like one day I go into my vehicle and there is a kid's car seat, or booster seat, in the front passenger seat. Oh. And I said to my husband, can you tell me why there's a booster seat in the passenger seat of our car? And he's like, oh, Austin wanted to ride in the front. I'm like, he's 4, and he doesn't really have a say in where he gets to sit. And
he also wanted a cigarette.
I said,
scotch, so I give that to him.
Right? Like, and then I'm going to keep branding because there's a couple of things like safety.
Oh, here we go.
And I'm sure other people, if you have a safety story with your husbands, please share.
Husbands are great.
He got major crap. I said the airbag alone could kill him, Marcus.
Yeah.
The other day too, so we have a cul-de-sac, a very busy road, and then the cul-de-sac, and people rip around the corner into our cul-de-sac, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm walking, I'm clearly very pregnant, and with my husband, he's got the mail in his hands, and he's slowly walking, while our sons are like a football yard ahead of us. And I'm like, go, like, be beside them. And he's like, I can't control them. I said, what are you gonna do if someone comes around that cul-de-sac corner? You have no reaction time. Whereas moms, I think you think of every scenario, like everything that could happen to my kid, I've already experienced.
Yes, but that could also be a bad thing, and that's where it's the good yin and yang with the hubbies, because husbands are more like, and dads are more like, like even my son, he's like, she's okay to eat dirt, right? Like it's. microbiome.
That part I'm okay with.
Yeah, but you know, like they're more, but it is a good balance. I
Let's
think.
sandwich Jeremy in here between us, and he can
Is
give
Jeremy
it.
coming in?
Jeremy just come sit.
That means I have to keep sitting up straight. I'm trying
Come
to sit
sit
straight to
right
avoid
in between
rolls.
us, Jeremy, because then you can kind of give us the dad, and you can use both of our microphones.
Oh, he's mic'd.
Oh, you're mic'd. Oh, good.
It's working or not, but we can see.
Hello,
Okay.
Jeremy.
So Jeremy's dad.
Looking at here? Here?
Well, you've got
The red
all sorts
lights
of.
over here, whatever's on the tallies.
Did you just get your makeup done?
Yeah.
You
look
look
great.
so
Yeah,
good,
thanks. You know, I'm not
Jeremy.
gonna lie, the makeup artist is amazing on this.
She's amazing.
So tell us about your parenting stuff. So
Okay, soon as I found out I was going to be a dad was the happiest day of my life.
you wrote a song about it.
I wrote a song when she
Chin
was
up.
born. I wrote a song when she was born, the day she was
Posture.
born.
Candace, come closer.
Yeah. So anyway, Candace. Yeah, I wrote a song called Brooklyn the day she was born.
Yeah.
About being a dad. It's something else. You never think you can love anything as much. as
Right.
when you have a child, it's something else. So, and yeah, and it's funny. Another thing I was going to talk to you, we didn't really address on the episode today is boy or girl, what the difference, like with Lisa, we were all thinking, oh, it'd be nice for her to have a girl, but it's the same. Yeah, for me, I wanted to have a girl, and everybody said, "What about hockey and coaching baseball and playing guitar?" I said,
I did
"She
all
can
those
do.
things.
She does all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like she
Yeah.
does. You know, I mean, that's the thing. I'm very proud to be a father. Very lucky.
Yeah.
And so
What was your biggest parenting faux pas or mistake that you made that you would?
if I had to change something.
Well, just
that I've
something that
done?
you
Not
didn't
change, but
know, or
something to
just like
learn
something that
from.
happened that was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or something happened.
Oh, yeah,
a scare.
I have to tell you what happened. Everybody knows.
Every parent has one of these. by the way.
Everybody knows that I'm the bear expert. Everybody knows this.
Everybody.
true.
I took her camping. We went to the tent. I left the bear spray in the truck. The bear came to the tent. She's already terrified to be in the tent. Not only was her and my mom. And I heard the bear coming, and I heard the noise of the bear. This is 11 at night, and I'm the bear expert. I don't know what the hell am I doing. So
You may be stripped of that title.
So I grabbed this big rock.
Yeah.
Grabbed this big rock, and I just kind of, shook like a little baby. I was like, oh, what the hell am I going to do? Anyway, so the bear, I heard it go away, and then, everybody says, Jeremy, there was no bear, you're full of crap and stuff. The next day, me and Brooklyn left. I said, that was good. The next day, the bear was on the porch. Yes. This was in Christina Lake, okay?
How old is Brooklyn?
And she is 9.
no,
She was
how old was she then?
8, yeah.
Oh, last year. Last year.
Last year, yeah, it just happened. Yeah, it just happened. But yeah, that's so I regret being the bear expert. Always carry bear spray, ladies and gentlemen, always. That was terrifying. They're dangerous. They'll go right to your tent. They don't
What was
care.
that movie where the bear came in with the Griswold? Wasn't it one of those Griswold
Yeah,
movies?
yeah.
John Candy was
But
in
he
it.
had all the he had all the stuff on the all the stuff on
Uncle
the
Buck? Is that Uncle Buck?
on the
was it
windshield.
Uncle
Yeah,
Buck?
they had chocolate bars on the windshield.
What was
the
it?
bears are.
The Green
The Green
Outdoors.
Outdoors.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking at them.
And when the bear's butt got waxed.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah, he got shot with the shotgun. Yeah, and his rear end was nice. It looked like
Yeah.
completely shaved shot there. So
Mike says, could she beat up Sun Bear?
no.
That
Sun
might be.
bears. There's been one casualty from a sun bear. I don't know who it was. There must have been a smaller person, but she is not that big herself. The sun bear, I mean, they're fast little buggers. Real fast.
Well,
eh?
this is baby talk, not bear talk.
Oh, yeah,
So
this is
when
baby
you first
talk, yeah,
had your
yeah.
baby,
Yes,
how was
very,
things like diaper
very.
changing, those kind of things for you?
I didn't mind that much, surprisingly.
Any advice for dads?
Yeah, just make sure you do your own kids' diapers.
As opposed to somebody else's?
Yes, exactly.
Were
Did
you
you
going to
mistake your
people's
child?
neighbors' houses?
No, I
and-
don't talk like it with. I'm actually very good with Lisa's kids.
Yeah,
Lisa's
you guys are like
kids.
on the same level.
We're the same. We're the same wavelength. I can't relate to Lisa. I can't. She's beyond me, right? But when it comes to me talking to her kid, it's like he's like pony horsey. He draws me a pony horse. I'm like, yeah. Well, what about this over here? He's just owl, and he goes. We speak back and forth.
And you talk to him normally, and not like a baby or anything.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, what'd you bring for me this time?
Yeah, and he brings it. Yeah, he's a good kid.
He's
These
a
are
good
good
kid.
kids. She's got a whole line now. She's got 3 of them coming up.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about, because now we have a mom and a dad perspective, is discipline. Can we talk
Yeah,
about
it's
discipline?
changed. I got spanked when I was a kid.
Is there a difference between mom and dad discipline, though, do you think?
I think I got probably, yeah, I don't remember. I mean, my mom and dad, they did a perfect job raising me. I don't know what the discipline now.
I want to ask you
Yeah.
about this because
It's a hard
this is
decision
a very
though, because
big.
I was Mexican, and I turned out pretty good. I think I'm a good man, nice person.
You're a
You
good
are a good
citizen.
Nice person to, I don't, do nothing really terrible or anything in my life. So I'm happy that I turned out the way I did. I don't think, I look at the way that my kid is now, the way I'm raising, and without, spanking, and it's fine. I mean, so it's just a different generation now that we're in. I don't think there's a need for that anymore.
Well, and co-parenting. So I want to talk to you because I was just talking about all the dangerous things my husband does, and we're married, so like we're together, and that's already difficult enough. Trying to get on the same page on certain things like safety is the most thing for me that I think that I argue with my husband about.
Yeah.
With our kids.
But there's discipline and
But like with co-parenting, when you're separated, how have you guys managed? Because
We've
you guys
done-
seem very, you
Yeah.
guys sing together. Like you guys are actually
Yeah.
that inspiring. 'Cause
Yeah.
when I see parents that are putting the kids first,
Yeah.
putting their differences
Yeah, so
aside,
great.
I'm just like, ha.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
It can be done.
because and the parents aren't pitting the kids against the parent. Like
Yeah.
I hate when it's like the triangulation when one dad or mom is
Yeah.
saying bad stuff, bad
'cause
talking to the parent.
Who loses? That's just the
The
kid.
kid does.
That's the only person. Like,
But you guys are
nobody
doing it
else.
right.
We've done really well, and when Brooklyn, when our daughter was born, it was the biggest day of my life, biggest day of her life. But we do well at making sure that we're on the same page. We get together often. We talk about things quite a bit and make sure that everything's going good. And yeah, I don't really unfortunately, there's some kids that don't have that situation where their dad doesn't even love them.
Or visit.
Or doesn't even
Yeah.
visit them. Like I'm just saying, or their mom doesn't
Or
even
they're too
talk to them.
busy.
Or they're too busy to even answer their calls to their own kids. So I don't know how to answer that because I don't know. I love, I'm such a proud to be a father.
All you can do is be the light, Jeremy.
Yeah, and I just want to encourage anybody, please, if you haven't had a good relationship with your kids, reach out to your
Yeah.
kids.
Never
too late.
It's not too late, and you
No.
need that. You
Yeah.
need that bond like she has with her small one. You should see him in the editing room.
It's true.
It is.
Well, we're out of time.
Oh, no, I came too late.
I know, but
That's all right.
it's there's so many things that we could talk about
I know.
These two, look at.
with parenting, and my husband's actually on the TV screen in the
He
background
is.
on our other show we did.
Good-looking man.
He is a good-looking
out there. I'm
man.
not gonna lie about this.
So yeah, if you guys have any comments or questions or things that you want to add to this conversation, just let us know.
Yeah.
And you guys here in the comment section below, and you guys out there, you can email us at info@therealdealtv.com. Make sure to like and follow our pages, facebook.com/therealdealtv show. Our YouTube is the same @sign, and our Instagram is as well.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thanks, guys.
It's nice to see you.
And that's a wrap.